All right, y'all. This is part two, man. This is actually a good clip. Shout out to Dr. Hassan Johnson, and this is to show that it's just not a so-called black problem. Part two.
Around what family support or family court, does to men, what it allows women to do. You don't get to hear that story unless you come into these spaces, right? So it's on a public level, it's often dismissed as just misogyny. It's dismissed as men just hate women, but the story behind what men have had to endure from entitled and empowered mothers who had the authority of the state on their head, who had the benefit of the doubt on their behalf in regard to how the court and how law enforcement tend to look at them, and how that power has been abused for all kinds of trivial reasons, whether it was revenge, whether it was contempt, whether it was frustration at a man eventually moving on. I've talked to brothers that didn't have relationships for 10, 15 years after a divorce, after a separation.
That's right.
Right? And the moment he gets a girlfriend of significance, the contempt is coming.
This is the Bigfoot. Excuse me. Excuse me. Yeah, man, but this is the Bigfoot. Just like I said, part one. You know what I mean? She be like, people keep hearing about the Bigfoot, but people always go, where's the proof? Here you go, exhibit A.
Right? The redress of everything from child support to, access to being able to see children. These kind of things are things that she's able to manipulate at her whim. And men have to walk on eggshells about even years after a divorce, even years after a separation. Hell, I've seen women who've been remarried multiple times. But the moment he gets in a significant relationship, even after a decade, she'll gut him if possible in turn.
And these are the women that'll say all in the same breath, he should have fought harder. If a man decides, you know what, bitch, fuck it, you got it, and just walk on, go on and just out in life and just cut all ties, he should have fought harder.
In terms of access to his kids or an adjustment on child support, simply because he's upset. Simply because he can, right? And this is what she's speaking to. She's actually challenging women to acknowledge publicly how many have used women. See, this is part of the story we don't get. We hear about the deadbeat dad.
Bigfoot.
We don't hear about the extent to which the manipulative mom can use these resources to her benefit. Now, this is another woman that comes at the topic similarly, but from a slightly different vantage point. Check her out. This is just under 2 minutes.
That file in court for full custody and put his ass on child support with zero access to his kids. A real man will come into your life and not think twice to spend family time first. Fuck him. Are you that low in self-esteem and that bitter that a man rejecting you and not wanting to be with you justifies you taking his children away from him? I don't know why it's so difficult for some of you women to understand.
And she's young. She's young. See, the women that were her age in 95, they the ones that's behind this bullshit. Let's continue.
And that two things can be true at the same time. A man can decide that this family dynamic, as in like the traditional mother, father, children dynamic, doesn't work for me no more. This is making me miserable. But could still be a present, wonderful.
Wow. What she's saying is very poignant and articulate, but let's not overlook what another man says. Just somebody you don't know, we don't know, which means general public. He says, took 30 years for my mother to admit this.
Loving father. Like, two things can exist. Making me miserable, but could still be a present, wonderful, loving father. Like, two things can exist at the same exact time. I never once mentioned in that video that he was a bad father. Like, not once. So why y'all are reaching and coming to these conclusions is crazy to me. I know so many of y'all are dead set on, like, me not having a relationship with him anymore. You would never be caught dead with your baby daddy at holidays, birthdays, any of that. I get that. If your baby dad is a piece of shit and treats you like absolute garbage and is emotionally, physically abusive, by all means, don't spend time with him. I don't care. But I lost my brother at a very young age. I was 17 when I found him overdosed, and he was 20 years old. So I learned at a very young age that, like, you hold on to people you care about.
And that's why she has the outlook and mindset that she has, because she had a tragic, traumatic experience happen to her at 17. So then this illusion of this social media bullshit bubble of reality shattered. And she's now focusing on what's real and what really matters in life. Both of those, both of these women, this lady, the Caucasian woman, and then the melanin rich one, they're both young. So the outlook is different because, hey, ladies and gentlemen, the jury is in, the results are in. Everyone's had time, especially this generation, the ones after me. Right? My daughter's age. We've all watched it and seen the results. So, hey, man, please go to Dr. Hassan Johnson's channel. He has great material over there. It's the 13th one, man. The Laughing Buddha. One of them ones. Often imitated, never duplicated, but most loved and respected. Marquez, the greatest. Hey, may you never want for what you need, and may you never need for what you want.